A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Boris Johnson pondering right to buy for housing association tenants. There's a lot of talk around the issue of a right to buy for housing association tenants, but how will this new policy actually work? The answer to that question depends on how effective it would be in London.
As Mayor of London, Boris Johnson would be able to make this happen, which would help Londoners get the home they want. However, there are a few problems with this policy, and we'll look at them one by one.
Taxpayer-subsidized merchantability of housing association stock. The Conservative Party has recently been accused of trying to buy votes with the taxpayer-subsidized sale of housing association stock.
Housing experts say the Conservatives are trying to buy votes by bribing voters by selling off a vast amount of public property. Meanwhile, more than 1 million households in England are on social housing waiting lists.
Meanwhile, social housing bills are soaring. In 2015, housing expert Henry Pryor suggested that the Conservatives were using taxpayer-subsidized sales of stock held by housing associations to win the next election.
Conservatives attempt to bribe voters with scheme. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been mulling a scheme to make it easier for housing association tenants to buy their homes.
The move would give an additional 2.5 million tenants the opportunity to buy their homes at reduced prices. The scheme was first introduced by Margaret Thatcher to help council tenants buy their own homes.
The plans would also make use of billions of pounds in housing benefit. The Conservative Party has promised to consider further pilot schemes before the 2019 general election.
Despite the economic crisis, it's still worth asking about the future of London's infrastructure. Boris Johnson has already begun to promote Formula One racing on the streets of the capital.
It has also been revealed that he's considering abolishing the Audit Commission, which produces annual reports and enthuses the media. Meanwhile, he's also pondering the right to buy for housing association tenants as an amendment to the infrastructure bill.
The Tory campaign is already battling fresh scandal as Neil Parish admits to watching pornography in the Commons. Labour's pressure to win significant gains in local elections has heightened.
With more than 4,000 council seats up for grabs in England, Labour is trying to build a coalition around the housing issue. If the new government takes office, they may be able to make substantial gains.
But before we discuss the right to buy for housing association tenants, we need to look at the UK economy and public sector debt. As the economy remains 2% smaller than before the recession, the UK is far from recovering.
In London, the University and College Union UCU is preparing for a strike action on 10 December, as they do when the right to buy for housing association tenants was first introduced in 2010. The NUG's campaign for full unionization of the public sector is going nowhere fast, and the current wage crisis is still hampering wages.
Opposition's reaction. The right to buy has a long history in the Conservative Party, having featured in David Cameron's manifesto in 2015.
However, the policy did not materialize, although Boris Johnson committed to looking at new pilot schemes before the 2019 general election. It comes days before local elections. 434 councils will be going to polls in England, Scotland, and Wales on May 5.
The Tories are under pressure to hold onto their seats in these localities, so extending the right to buy to housing associations is a risky gamble. The right to buy scheme was introduced by Margaret Thatcher in the 1980s as a way to encourage people to become homeowners.
It is now thought that up to 2.5 million tenants in England could benefit from the scheme. This would provide much-needed financial security to millions of people, and billions of pounds in housing benefit could be used to help people secure mortgages.
The opposition's response to Boris Johnson's right to buy for housing association tenants is predictable and unsurprising. As the right to buy policy failed to materialize, the government has committed to looking at new pilots.
But critics said that Boris Johnson was merely trying to drum up a glowing past by talking up old policies, while trying to divert attention from the growing sleaze row. On Saturday, a Conservative MP was caught watching pornography in the Commons, sparking a debate over the culture of misogyny in Parliament.
Despite these issues, the opposition is firmly resolute in predicting that Boris Johnson will remain as the Prime Minister, whatever the results of the election. After the 2015 election, the government brought back Right to Buy, a scheme to allow housing association tenants to purchase their homes at discounted prices.
The scheme is designed to help up to 2.5 million households in housing association properties get a mortgage a record low and allows them to keep their homes while transferring them to a new owner. But the policy has met with a storm of criticism, with many conservatives accusing David Cameron of repackaging the 2015 plan and adding a ridiculous twist.
Prime Minister's position. In a bid to tackle the generation rent, Boris Johnson is considering bringing back Margaret Thatcher's Right to Buy scheme to give housing association tenants the opportunity to purchase their own home.
He hopes to do this to give help to generation rent and demonstrate his commitment to conservative principles. The policy is being developed by the policy unit at No 10 and could provide the opportunity for up to 2.5 million households to buy their home.
The Conservative Party has previously tried to revive Right to Buy in the UK and introduced a pilot scheme in the Midlands. Boris Johnson was lukewarm about this proposal, but has now changed his mind, saying it was time to focus on tackling Partygate.
In 2015, the Conservative Party announced they would look at new schemes to help tenants of housing associations buy their own homes. Since then, the government has repeatedly failed to implement the Right to Buy, citing a lack of public support for this scheme.
While the Right to Buy scheme has had some success in converting council tenants into homeowners, it has received mixed reactions. Many critics see it as a government attempt to reintroduce a failed policy that has not worked out.
Nevertheless, there has been plenty of talk over a revival of the Right to Buy scheme. Right to Buy is a legacy of Thatcher's time, which allows council tenants to purchase their homes at discounted prices.
It has been criticized by many as a dangerous scheme, citing its adverse impact on the housing shortage in the country. According to Shelter, more than 34,000 households in England became homeless between October and December last year, with nearly 8,000 of them being families with children.